you know, like you gotta ask yourself like, what kind of entrepreneur do you want to be? Like, do you want to be like the top of the top entrepreneur? Do you want to be an average entrepreneur? Do you want to just kind of like pay your bills? If you want to be like the best, you gotta be always like seeking discomfort. You know, like you gotta ask yourself like, what kind of entrepreneur do you want to be? Like, do you want to be like the top of the top entrepreneur? Do you want to be an average entrepreneur? Do you want to just kind of like pay your bills? If you want to be like the best, you gotta be always like seeking discomfort. You know, that in itself is a hack, and I think that's a good barometer of like where you're at. You know, like I go through phases where I get too comfortable, and then my productivity drops all of a sudden. And it just happened over and over again over the last 6 years. So for me, like that hack like that, or making big investments, like I invest huge into my business because I don't want all that surplus of money sitting in my bank account because I emotionally start to get too comfortable. So I almost get discomfortable when there's too much surplus happening in my business and in my life. So
I want to add it on that because, like, depending on how you were raised, this is where, to me, why sometimes being too much of one thing, like being too logical or being too spontaneous, too like just trigger happy or too impulsive, like you gotta learn to channel different kind of muscles, different energies, because if you're too logical, then logically you're not gonna. There's a lot of investments or risks you take in that logically would make no logical sense. And so you would never do them. And there's times where those investments have not worked out, right? And
I spent 50 grand on a backlink.
Right.
So that doesn't logically make sense.
Right.
But I just wanted to prove that you could do it.
I love it. Exactly. But that's what I'm trying to say, right? And so it's one of those things of like, it's by the way, it's kind of in a little way, it's kind of like why did Dan still want to throw this event with COVID? It's kind of, he wanted to prove that he could do it.
Yeah.
He didn't really have to. He didn't financially need to. Like it was just like that was the thing, right? So just make sure, just understand where you are. If you're too logical, if you're too conservative, try to like almost pattern interrupt yourself. Try to do the opposite thing that makes you feel uncomfortable, just to like feel it and like experience it, because it's really easy to have an opinion, and if you haven't done the other side of it.
I talked to one at the Reload event, and he was at. I asked him, hey, he's like, Ipe, how can I get to the next level? I asked him, how much money are you making in your lead gen business? He goes, 15K a month. I go, do you still have a job? He goes, yes. But he still has his like 10K a month or so like job because it's easy and it's comfortable. Yeah. He's like, yeah, I can work on my JK business sort of when I'm at the work anyway. It's so easy, like I'm still working. I'm like, dude, you gotta quit that job. Like, I know your life expenses aren't 15K. Right. I know lead gen business is generating 15K a month. I know that's paying all your bills right now. Like, you're too comfortable. Like, you need to cut that umbilical cord of like that safety net. And I promise, like, that's how you're gonna get to the next level, is like getting rid of that with that comfort, and because you already proven to yourself that the lead gen business model works. You're already at 15K a month. So, and I had to kind of grill him on that, but like, it makes sense for him. Yeah. I think a lot of students have something like that in their life going on where they're still playing it too safe. Yeah. Like they're afraid to take that leap into a true entrepreneurship where you have to rely on yourself. But I mean, guys, like this model works. At 10K a month, 15K, you've already proven that it works. Yeah. And so just wanted to add to that, because when I quit my job, that's when my business really like quadrupled inside 6 months. Yeah, it was fearful. I was afraid. I was scared shitless because now I didn't have a job anymore. Right. But I started waking up at like 5 a.m. every day and grinding hard like I never have. Right. So to ensure that I didn't fail. Right. So.
Well, that's good. Good you said. I think that's another thing people don't realize is that like sometimes people think like we don't experience fear or stress or uncertainty. Like that's a uniquely like it's a uniquely it's because I'm a new student I experienced this and you guys have got past that. I thought I got past it, right? Like it's like nope, that's just you always like it's actually probably a bad sign if you don't have those things a little. Like you got to figure out your Zen happiness, and that's why I love the stock market, and this is going to be a talk for like another live, but I kind of realized like life in a lot of ways is like a stock market because the stock market over a long period of time always goes up, but it's like that. And like that's a lot of life. Like you go up and then you kind of plateau for a little bit, and things decline. There's stress and anxiety, and go up. It's like as long as the average is oscillating up, like that's the most important. But to think that every day is going to be better than the last nonstop is just never. It's kind of like a fallacy.
Yeah, I mean we have off days. I mean the key is like when you have an off day to realize it and getting back on the horse as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Like, cause it's gonna happen. Like life's gonna throw like random shit at you. It's gonna take you off your game, but it's getting back on that horse as quickly. And that's kind of what I learned.
Yeah.
Accepting that those things are gonna happen in life, and you are gonna have sometimes like bad days or slow days or lazy days. But like the next day, trying to get back into the game as quickly as possible is